Welcome to part 4 of my comprehensive Skyweaver beginner's guide. If you missed the previous parts, be sure to check the links to the other parts of my guide in the description. By this point, you should be familiar with card phrasing, heroes and prisms, and the core game mechanics, as well as out-of-decking and conjuring. In this guide, we're going to get into the last of the essential game mechanics and review, the attachment system and enchantments. You can also read up on these from the Skyweaver official site. In Skyweaver, units and heroes can hold spells or enchantments. You may have already noticed that at the beginning of the game, both of the heroes have mana spells attached to them. There are cards that can give attachments to either units or heroes. When you attach something to a unit or hero, any existing attachment or enchantment will be overwritten. Some spells are even considered tokens and only exist in the game as attached to units. There are 16 unique enchantments in Skyweaver. There is a positive and negative enchantment for each of the 8 elements in the game. Some enchantments on your hero or units can be removed by paying mana, and the cost will be indicated on top of the enchantment. Shroud is the positive air enchant. A character with Shroud cannot be targeted by a spell or play effect your enemy uses, but does not stop you from targeting friendly characters. Shroud is dusted at sunrise, meaning that it is dusted at the start of that character's turn. Shroud cannot be removed by paying mana. Shroud does not protect characters from being attacked or from things that damage the whole battlefield. Silence is the negative air enchant. A character with Silence has its card text effects disabled. Silence cannot be removed by paying mana. Something that confuses new players is that Silence does not affect a unit's keywords or traits. If a unit is silenced, it still has keywords like banner and armor. Fate is the positive dark enchant. When a unit with Fate dies, you will draw a card of that unit's element. Fate cannot be removed by paying mana. It's important to note that units with Fate that are dusted will not enter the graveyard, and you will not draw a card. If Fate is removed from a card before it dies, you will also not draw a card. Hex is the negative dark enchant. A character with Hex will take 6 damage at the end of its owner's turn, or on sunset, and Hex will dust itself. Hex can be removed by paying mana. Again, something that often confuses new players is the timing of Hex's resolution. Hex is a sunset effect, meaning that if you Hex your enemy's unit, it will not take damage until the end of the enemy's turn. Something else to note is that Hex damage is not immune to armor, so a Hexed unit with armor would only take 5 damage. Anima is the positive earth enchant. Anima itself has no effect on the attached unit, but when Anima is removed, it will give 2 power and 2 health to the unit that was holding it. Anima can be removed by paying mana. If Anima is removed on a unit while in your hand, Anima will not trigger on the unit. Roots is the negative earth enchant. A unit or hero with roots cannot attack. Roots can be removed by paying mana. Fury is the positive fire enchant. Fury is a glory effect, and when a character with Fury attacks and damages a hero, the character holding Fury will gain 1 power and 1 health, you will draw a 1-cost card, and it will dust itself. Fury cannot be removed by paying mana. Flames is the negative fire enchant. Flames is a sunrise effect, so a character with Flames will take 2 damage at the start of that character's turn. Flames can be removed by paying mana. Shield is the positive light enchant. The first time a character with Shield would take combat damage, that damage will be prevented and Shield will be dusted. Shield cannot be removed by paying mana. Shield only protects from combat damage, which is damage from another unit or hero. Shield does not protect you from spell damage. Another important factor is armor. If you try to damage an armored and shielded unit with 1 power, the shield will not dust. Blind is the negative light enchant. A character with blind can only attack the rightmost enemy. Blind can be removed by paying mana. Lead is the positive metal enchant. Lead is a unique enchantment because it is the only one that cannot be removed by overwriting it with another attachment or enchantment. Lead also prevents the unit from being dusted. Lead cannot be removed by paying mana. It is important to note that lead can be removed from a unit when it is in your hand, and lead is automatically removed from a unit when it enters the graveyard. Units with lead can still be dusted from the graveyard. Chains is the negative metal enchant. A character with chains has all of its keywords or traits disabled. If chains is removed, the keywords will be enabled again. Chains cannot be removed by paying mana. Again, chains is often confused with silence. Chains does not remove unit text effect. Barrier is the positive mind enchant. The first time a character with barrier would take damage from a non-combat source, that damage will be prevented and barrier will dust itself. Barrier cannot be removed by paying mana. Barrier only protects from non-combat damage, such as a spell or a unit's effect. Barrier does not protect from unit or hero damage and can be thought of as the inverse of shield. Another important factor is armor. If you try to damage an armored and barriered unit with a 1-power spell, the barrier will not dust. Dazed is the negative mind enchant. Dazed is a sunrise effect, and at the start of its owner's turn, a character with Dazed will be put to sleep, which means it will be unable to attack that turn even if Dazed is removed on the same turn. Dazed can be removed by paying mana. Vapors is the positive water enchant. Vapors itself has no effect on the attached unit, but when Vapors is removed, it will give 1 health to the hero that owns the card and let you draw a card. Vapors can be removed by paying mana. Frostbite is the negative water enchant. A character with Frostbite will take 2 additional damage whenever it would take any damage at all. Frostbite can be removed by paying mana. It is important to note that Frozen is also affected by things like armor and wither. A character with armor and Frostbite will still take 1 less damage. A character affected by wither in Frozen will take the additional damage to both its power and health. And that is all for Skyweaver's attachments and enchantments. Attachments and enchantments provide an extra element of strategy to the game, since you have to balance playing cards in your hand and potential cards or enchantments that are already on the field. In the description, I've also included a graphic that shows you everything about attachments and enchantments at a glance. And that is all for this guide. You now know everything there is to know about Skyweaver. Now you should just get in there and gain even more familiarity with all the mechanics and keep practicing. In the next part, I will do a very beginner-friendly how to play a game from start to finish and explain every card effect and decision.